Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the OpenCred Micro-credential Course Template workshop. I'm Nadia from OpenLearning and I'm your MC for the workshop today. We're just waiting for a few more participants to join, so we'll give about 1 or 2 minutes more before we begin. Right, let's begin. Welcome again. My name is Nadia and I'm your MC if you're just joining us now. Just a few housekeeping rules to go before we start the workshop. Please note that the workshop is live and recorded. We will be sharing the slides with you after the workshop. Therefore, please keep a lookout. All the information that is presented today will be shared. At the end of the workshop and in between, there'll be some poll questions for you to answer. It would be much appreciated if you can help to answer the poll questions. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to leave it in the Q&A box and we will be taking the questions after the workshop. This is the structure of the workshop. We will begin with introducing the OpenCred Course Template, where it is a customizable template packed with tips and guides to help you kickstart your micro-credential journey. After we cover that, we will also be covering a resource that we have compiled, which is an online course guide to help you plan, build, and launch your micro-credentials in 30 days. Please allow me to introduce our host for today, Mr. Chandru, also known as Balasanda. He is our in-house learning designer and trainer. Chandru, take it away.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Nadia, for that lovely introductions. Hi, everyone. My name is Chandru. Okay. Some of my friends also call me Balasanda. That pretty much is my full name. Okay. Yes, I'm a learning designer as well as trainer at OpenLearning.com. So I come from the learning services department. Okay. So my department, the learning services, have a team of learning designers, okay, who work closely with the institution like yourself or any corporate clients to develop courses on the platform. Okay, so I have a lot of good news today. I have so many things to show you today. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so all right, I hope you can see my slide. Okay, so today is before I talk about what is microcredential, what is OpenCred templates and how to use them. So let's go back a little bit basic is what is microcredential. So I noticed some of you are probably already joined Prof. Karim keynotes, and he also already explained a lot about what is microcredential and some of the key criteria and all these things. So for us, what is for my own micro-credential is something like mini qualification that demonstrate skill, knowledge, or experience in the given subject area or capability. All right. So it's basically shorter than your usual course, and it also can be part of your accredited program. Okay, or you can also create a very standalone micro-credential course like your professional course or anything. So this is where I want to highlight one of the things that Prof. Karim mentioned in his keynote. He also said that micro-credential is not really about the time base, it's about the demonstration of the competency, knowledge, and skill. He really highlighted that part. Yes, totally agree. Micro-credential is less about the time, but more to the where the candidates have to demonstrate their development, okay, in their skills, the knowledge by providing learning artifacts. Okay, so so next I'm going to little bit show that's the basic about micro-credentials. So what is OpenCred? So you probably heard that terms quite long when you go through our OpenLearning sessions, go through when you go to our blog. So this OpenCred, something that you hear a lot. Okay, so what is OpenCred? OpenCred is basically our micro-credential brand. Okay, recently we have launched our own OpenCred framework for any education providers and industry to create very quite short and stackable micro-credential easily. All right. So if you want to learn more about micro-credential framework, is what is the criteria and how to do that. So please visit our website. Okay. All right. And beside that, one thing when I talk to them, a lot of educators, educators having, they know how, most of the educators hope to have some sort of support from us. Okay, Chandru, how are you gonna, I know how to create course, but I want to have some sort of head start or something like that. Okay, so yeah, creating a micro-credential course is actually not easy. You need to do a lot of planning and make things ready. So in order to make things easier for you, okay, we at OpenLearning have launched several initiatives, okay, and resources to help you to create your own OpenCred courses, okay, or micro-credential courses. One of the solution is we call 30-day OpenCred course guide. Okay, all right, 30-day OpenCred course guide. Let me show you the course. Okay, so the purpose of this guide is to help anyone to create the OpenCred course in 30 days with all the where it got contain all the useful resources such as course outline, template, how to video, and as well as link to OpenCred Course Template. Okay, okay, don't confuse here. There's two things you need to remember. There's two resources I'm today introducing. One is OpenCred Course Guide, and one is OpenCred Course Template. Please don't. So let me show the 30-day course guide first. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is OpenCred course guide. Okay, normally when you look at this course, it's actually basically an online course where when you click start building, and we have developed a step-by-step guide for you to where with a lot of resources inside the course for you to and as well as a step-by-step guide, the videos where you can easily create your own micro-credential course. So you can see here the first is what you should do when you want to create first your micro-credential course. You plan your micro-credential project, right? And then the second is you check demand of your course, right? Is it your course that micro-credential course or OpenCred course that you want to develop is got demand in the market or not? So how to do that? Okay, there you go. We have a resource to show you how to do it. And the third one is structuring your contents. Okay, that means you plan your course in your course outline. I'm pretty sure most of you know how to do this, right? It's creating a lesson plan. That's the most important part in developing a micro-credential course is you plan your course in a piece of document. What is your course objective? What is your course outcome? What is your course title? How many hours this course going to take? What is the price that I want to have for this course? Okay, then also can. And what is the first module, second module, third module, and fourth module, what is the content, and what is the activity that's fulfilling the learning outcome. So everything you need to plan in the piece of document before you go and start developing in any LMS or in OpenLearning. All right, so that's pretty much structuring content. So today for my demo, also I already prepare my own content, my own course plan. Pretty much I can show you now here is this one like this. Okay, pretty much this is how the template will look like when you download in the 30-day course guide. You can see I already planned my course is structure very easy. Like what is my first module called module 0, what is the page, and what are the things that I want to have in that page. Okay, is it got any video, what is the activity and everything. Okay, so you should do something like this. Okay, so and then after you plan your course, then finally what you can do is you can directly go and develop your course from scratch. And this is why I'm going to have a very good news. Okay, I'm going to tell a very good news. So, or you use how OpenLearning, OpenCred's course template. Okay, so that's a thing that I'm going to show you today. Okay, OpenCred course template that I'm going to show you very basic introduction how to request that and how to edit that part. Okay, so in order to request that course template, you can directly do in this 30-day course guide. There we already have a set page for you to. There's a form there for you to do to apply for the form. To request the course template, and it's very easy and very straightforward. Okay, okay, let's go back to our slide. Okay, okay. So as I mentioned earlier, this OpenCred template is actually a pre-built course. All right, it's actually a pre-built course with the fictional contents and activities. Okay, already there. Okay, and it also contains tips on how to design high quality course and guide on how to customize the template. So you can get a head start on how to create your own OpenCred course. So that's a pretty much useful this template is. So you don't need to start from scratch. It's the fictional contents there, the activities there, plus some tips. Okay, remember Prof. Karim mentioned earlier that if you want to create your own OpenCred micro-credential course or OpenCred course, first you want to do your own, you want to be a learner first, and then you also need to do a lot of research, see how the other people are doing it. There you go. In this template, you will have that opportunity. We give you that opportunities, right? Okay. So one of the things that I want to explain here is our brand OpenCred, like any micro-credential, have its own criteria. The question is why this course called OpenCred? What makes things different? So there are different criteria that make this course different than a regular MOOC or any online course or OpenCred's micro-credential course. Right. So one thing is I want to explain is the OpenCred's type of learning. So if you refer to our framework, we have three type of learning, which is professional learning. Okay, is it your OpenCred course fall to professional learning? Is it fall to technical and vocational education and training course or higher education, right? Like credit bearing. So you need to identify that part. And the second is the course learning outcome. Okay, how to have an online course without course learning outcome. So that's the most important part. You must have that. Okay, and the third criteria is actually learning hours. All right, and learning hours is one of the important criteria in OpenCred course is because one thing is we allow the stackability. Right, let's say your course is like 4 hours, so you can stack with the other courses to create a pathway. So how to do that? That's why we standardize it and very nicely in our framework. So you make sure you need to specify how long the course is going to take. Is it 4 hours, 8 hours, and something like that. And then the fourth is learning evidence or artifact of learning. Okay, evidence of learning. All right. So when the student do any take your own micro-credential course, they need to produce some sort of artifact evidence in order to demonstrate that they are fulfill your learning outcome by demonstrating the skill, the competency that I mentioned earlier. Right. That's why it's very important, the artifact. Okay. Without the artifact, how are you going to decide the competency? Prof. mentioned competency is very important in micro-credential based. Learner have to demonstrate the competency. How are you going to do that? By learning, by showing the learning evidence. Okay, so beside that, there are also other criteria, like depend on your type of learning. Like if you create for credit bearing course, probably you want to make sure that your micro-credential course have MQA alignment, all right, and some agreement. Okay, so there are that you need to be aware of, right? Okay, so now I already explained a little bit about this micro-credential, a little bit explain about what is OpenCred, and some show you some walkthrough of our 30-day course guide. And next, let's go and go to our main agenda of this session is customizing course template. Okay, so I'm going to open that. Give me a second. All right. Okay. Before that, sorry, I have I want to know a little bit about how many people here already have some idea that creating open course. So that we're going to launch a little bit polls. Okay, let's take a look before I want to go to the course template. Okay, we have polls coming now. Okay. Okay. Is everyone done? Can I see the result? Okay, let's give them few more seconds. No, wait to see the result. Wow. Okay, so we already have a result here. Let me share the result. Right? Very nice. Okay. So do you already have a topic for micro-credential you want to build? Okay, 39% say yes, I already have a topic in mind. 29% say not yet, I'm still researching and exploring. And 32% say not yet, I'm new to micro-credential, right? So don't worry, okay, for the 39%, okay, the one who worked today is, I'm a very good news for you. So because after this session, you can request a template and join our 30-day course guide and start developing your course. For the rest, if you still have a topic and research in mind, don't worry, you can still our 30-day course guide, and there you can try to validate your course got demand or not using our method that we share there. Okay, for the people that are new to the OpenCred, sorry, to micro-credential everything, We have a lot of blocks for you, okay, to explore. You also can join in our micro-credential course as a learner. Okay, remember, become a learner first and explore, get the idea. When you are confident, then you can get started. Okay, so okay, without ado, let's start with our main session. Okay, editing our course template. Okay, so I'm gonna open it. Okay, so basically remember when I say in the 30-day course guide, there are request form for you to receive this template. Okay, this OpenCred template. Okay, so this so once you receive this template, okay, the one that I'm showing here, you will see a step-by-step guide. Okay, a step-by-step guide on how to customize this template, and also will be granted a course administrator access. Okay, that means you can basically edit the course, right? So what unique about this template is that you will get head start in the course design, okay? Because everything's there, the content's there, the fictional content's there, fictional activities there, tips and tricks and how to do a design a great online course also there. So everything is there, and also the guide on how to design high quality course. So you can pretty much start very easily, all right? So that's a pretty much best part on the about this course. Okay, let me show a little bit go through this course navigation a little bit. Okay, so if you take a look at the top here, is we call it a course banner. Okay, can I click shift? Yeah. All right. So this is a course banner, and then this is what we call our course progress. Okay, where is show your overall students progress, and this is what we call a left navigation tab. Okay, that's one of the important point. And down here, where you can see arrow pointing on the right. Okay, so that part is we call it a course administrator section. Okay, if you're course administrator only, you see that part. Okay, so course setup is for you to edit the contents, creating course structure, and then a lot of settings. Administrator learner for you to manage your learner, get some data about your learner, add your students and something like that. Assessment for you to create our outcome-based assessment. Okay, so best one thing in our learning is we have this feature called outcome-based assessment. Okay, so if you want to utilize that, you can do it here in the assessment tab, and then the credential tab is for you to set up your own credential. All right, so that means you can set up your own badges, your own certificate and etc. Right. So without ado, let's go back to our first session. Is I'm going to show you, right, a little bit about basic course structure here. Okay, if you when I click this left tab here, modules and activity, this is what we call a module set, right? And then when I click it, you can see I have like 5 pre-designed modules. Okay, we call it modules. Don't get confused with this term later. When you play with it, you will be all clear. Okay, so we call this a modules, right? And when you click the modules, you will see some box like this. We call that a pages. Okay. Then when you click the pages and where you will see the contents. So that's where I put all these contents, like fictional contents, for you to explore and everything. So when I click these contents, how to, for example, see, you can see there are some topic, all right? There's some speech bubble, tips, and then there's some fictional contents. There's a fictional activity, all right, for you to get the idea and all these things. So basically, you can directly start edit the part, all right? So I want to create my own course. Okay, not this course. This is my course template. I already have my own course in my head. Okay, I want to create a course about what about online safety for parents. Okay, so one way to do that is I want to edit directly in this course template. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. But before that, there's one thing that I want to remind is if you're creating your own course, like editing in this template or create your course from scratch, one of the most important thing is you need to create your own course structure. Same thing that you already planned in the course document. Okay, so one way you do that is actually in the course setup contents. Okay, you can create your own basic scratch, your own course structure. But I'm not going to go in details in this session, okay, how to create a course structure. But we already have like a 1 hour training video in YouTube, okay, to tell you to show you how to do that. Okay, you can watch that video tutorial. We also have a lot of help page on you, show you how to create your own course structure. Okay, so you also can create your own course structure in the top of this existing costs that already here. If you notice in this template, there are already a cost structure. Remember when I say there's a module set called modules and activity, and there's a modules and there's a pages. This is a structure. So they already exist. So I'm just going to directly edit in this structure today. Okay, I'm not going to create a new structure. But if you want to do it, please watch my video. Please go through our tutorial video other. So let's get started. Okay. Okay, for this, okay, this is my content course that I want to develop my own course. So you can see I already prepare my contents, everything beforehand. Okay, this is why it's very important to prepare everything beforehand, because if you plan everything in your course outline, prepare your contents, write everything in that piece of document like this, what are the video that you want to use, prepare your video, everything, it will be easy for you to edit the template, okay, or create the course template, okay. So I done the same thing, okay. I probably you also already do the same, already done the same thing as well, okay. Okay, so let's start editing. I'm going to show how to do it. Okay, to edit the course template is very easy. All right. What you can do is you can directly go to the any course that any pages that you want to edit. Okay. So if you notice, I have this getting started module. Okay, we call it the orientation module, right? Where show students how to to prepare before they go to the course content. Okay, there's a home page and then there's a getting started module and everything. You can edit that part as well. For this today's session, I'm just going to go directly to this page where I'm going to directly edit the contents. Okay. Please let me know if I'm going very fast. Okay. All right. So let's start editing our first content. Okay, so to edit the content is very easy. Okay, what you can do first is if you notice in the top right, you click the edit page. All right, the same step also already mentioned in the step-by-step guide. Okay, so just click the edit page. You will lead to the editor section. You open the editor section. Okay, if you look at this left, we call this widgets. Okay, I'm not going to go through in details about what each widget do, but remember one thing that this is our building block of contents. Widget we call this building block of contents. Each content type have its own widget. Okay, if you want to learn more about our widgets, then what you can do is you can go to our help page, and then if you notice there's a icon here, you click it, also it will lead to our help page, right? So if you notice, this template also built using this same widget. So if you notice, this is we call it a text widget, right? You can see here. And then this is a widget, the text widget, right? And besides the text widget, we also have other widget like this is a post text widget. Okay, post text widget normally we use for activity, and this is the one. Okay, besides that, you also can, if you go scroll down, click edit. Okay, when you get the template, what you do, click edit, go through all the pages and see all the different widgets. Okay, and then see how the video widget is being used, how the audio widget is being used, and all this thing. Okay, it'll be great. Okay, the best way to learn something new is making a mistake and also play with it. So don't worry, if you make a mistake, you can request a new template. Okay, or you can copy this one. All right, so play with it. Okay, don't afraid to make a mistake and click, do a mistake. Okay, and then, but the most important thing, learn from the mistake. Okay, so when you click this, you can see this, go to the editor mode, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this page topic. Okay, so I already planned what is my first topic name in this, my course plan. Okay, let me open my course plan again, the one I prepare from 30-day course guide. Yeah, so my first modules, okay, it's actually online safety and threat. Okay, that one you need to edit in the structure. Okay, and then this one, this is my first page name. Okay, let's start with this one. Okay, but you still need to edit the model one, I'm going to show. Okay, so you can see I changed my topic name, and then this is we call page thumbnail. Okay, page thumbnail is actually, you remember the picture icon that you see in the each pages. So you can change it to any picture. All right, but make sure that picture that you upload is really reflect your topic. Okay, and then once you change that, you click setup. You will see a couple of tabs here, right? Setup, complexity setting, share setting. Share setting only available for posting widget. So for here, you only need to focus on this three tab. To edit the contents, click setup. All right. So what you can do is directly you can type whatever the thing, whatever you want to add, right? So the best way is you can type from scratch. Okay, I more prefer to type everything in the piece of document and then copy paste. Okay, Control C and here Control V. Okay, so what is my first topic name here is, if you refer to my, is actually a new internet new front end, right? Okay, let's change it here. I'm gonna Control V and nicely remove this part. All right. I'm just going to leave this nice page divider. Okay, you can change it if you want to. It's just an image file. Okay, it's just an image file for beautification's sake. Okay, so if you don't like it, you can click that button, highlight the button, and click the delete button. It will go. Okay, so like this. All right, and then you can do it. So throughout the topic, this is how you change it, and throughout the topic, you can see there are speech bubble like this. Okay, this speech bubble have course design tips and tricks. So if you don't like it, after you like complete your course design, and then you feel like, okay, please don't forget to remove all this course design tips. Okay, so you just need to highlight this part and then click delete, and then it will come. Okay, so then what you can do is directly you can add your own contents and activities lah. Okay, so once you're happy with this, don't forget to click done. Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, so I'm gonna add your own contents and activity, but there are a couple of content that I want to add, more content that I want to add here. Okay, like this one. See how easy is this when you have this copy paste, when you have plan everything in the piece of document. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna replace with my own contents. Okay, and I don't want this. Okay, just click delete. Right. Okay, and then maybe need to make it nicer like this. There's a few editing bar. Okay, remove this by clicking edit. And then how about putting a picture, a nice picture here, right? So you can put picture here by clicking this icon. All right, click select. And hey, wait, this is my sample demo. Okay, yeah. Wait a few more seconds for your picture to be uploaded, and then styles. You also can decide style for your picture. Like, do you want the picture to be float left, float right? I want it to be flow left to make it nicer. So shadow frame, okay, I'm happy with all these styles. So I'm gonna click OK, right? Yeah. So this is how you add pictures, right? You keep on adding a lot of pictures to make your course really nice. Okay, this is how you add contents. If you apply the same technique throughout all pages, that's only, okay? So click edit, you remove the unnecessary content that you want to remove, and you just replace with your own contents. Okay, it's very simple like that. Okay, same idea for the activity as well. You can see we already have an activity. The reason why we put all this activity is actually not only show you uh, the not simply to show you a fictional context. The main purpose is to give you inspirations, an idea. Okay, when you look at this sample activities, you without you realize, yeah, I can apply this idea in my course. Even you already like prepare your activity idea, you may will get surprised. Okay, so that's why this template is really awesome thing. Okay, creating course formulas, really awesome thing, because you will get a lot of new idea, like, oh, this is like good idea I want to apply in my this micro-credential course. So you're happy to create a very high quality online course. Okay. All right. So I already have an activity in my plan. Okay. So it's actually in my document page. So this is my activity. Okay. So what I can do is I'm going to remove this activity. Okay. And then what I can do is, oh, sorry. Okay. And add my own activity, right? Okay. Maybe I want to put this in the cost. Okay. I'm gonna remove this. Okay, this is actually a box. I don't want this. Or you can add very nice picture, right? Okay, so if you want to get the idea from the activity, you can pick it to mesh your own activity. Okay, the original one. Okay, so once you've done it, make sure you click done. Okay. Or what I can do is maybe I want to change this icon as well. This icon is maybe maybe this one also. Okay, maybe add some very nice activity icon for Android. Depend. You need to put the style first and see how the thing is look like. And so how's your morning is no maybe activity your internet. All right. So yeah. So activity instructions here. All right, and then student can share their wording here. Okay, so what you can do is maybe I can put this as a template. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, give me a moment. That's strange. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, so now so the input where you can delete this panel, right? Okay. Okay, so once then you can see I have had my own contents, I already had my own activity and everything. Okay, so that's how you create your own contents and as well as activities. Okay, it's very pretty simple, straightforward. You just apply the same method throughout to all your courses. Okay, so it's very easy. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to add your course learning outcomes. Okay, so let's say you already completed editing all your pages. Okay, creating a course structure, put all your contents, activity. So one next thing is probably your course already have your own course learning outcome. So what you can do is you need to add that. Okay, your own course learning outcome in the platform. All right. So to do that is actually click setup and then click. Okay. All right. So nicely. Okay, so you can see there already been an outcome here. Okay, I'm not going to use this outcome because this is the fictional contents outcome. I already have my own outcome. I'm just going to replace it here. So since I already plan everything in the cost document, so what I can do is I can simply copy paste, right? Not here in my cost plan. Okay, yeah, this is the two things. Same thing here. So yeah, this is a main outcome. Okay. Delete and Ctrl V to paste. Simple. Okay, I'm gonna delete this and then I'm gonna remove this. Right. So what you can do is you can do the same thing for all the rest of them. Okay, if you want to add a more outcome, you can simply click add outcome. If you don't like the outcome, and you can delete this X button. Okay, and then you want to add more, simply click add, and then you can add your second outcome, third outcome, and fourth outcome. Okay, so once you've done that, the most important part is you need to add your outcome tags as well. Okay, probably wonder what is outcome tags. Okay, um, in open learning, we believe that high quality course normally all the great online course normally the contents and activity in the course will link to the learning outcome. That's the most important part. Whatever course you design, your course must be focused is fulfilling the learning outcomes. So that's why when you create your course in open learning, so all the contents and activity, you can link it to your course learning outcome by using the outcome tags. You will create a connections. You will create a connections. But in order to that connection to happen, first you need to create something called outcome tags. You need to give it a name for that connection, for that bridge to happen. You can name any name you want. Okay, some people call it CO1, some people call it LO1. Okay. For me, I would prefer to use some really memorable outcome tags, like this is a recognized threat to online safety, then maybe my outcome tag is recognized threats. Okay. Okay. So something like this. Okay. So you can have a very short, simple outcome tag, something that memorable, right? So this outcome tags also is one of the most important part if you want to use our outcome-based assessment feature. Remember, I mentioned earlier that we in Open Learning, we have this assessment feature called outcome-based assessment. So if you want to utilize that, the most important, the first part is actually specify the learning outcome, and then create a tag, and then connect that learning outcome to the rest of your contents and activities. Okay, so then only you can create the assessment report. All right, so even you have no plan to create an assessment report, there are other benefits. Okay, we have a help page that mention about the benefit. All right, so now, okay, I'm not going to add more learning outcomes. So after you're done, add everything. So I'm just going to click next. See, actually, I have 4 outcomes. So I'm for time's sake, I'm just going to stick with one. All right, so now I already had the learning outcome. Okay, so what's next is what you can do is you need to tag that specific activity. Okay, remember your learning outcome need to create a bridge. So what you can do is to tag the specific activity, go to the any activity that fulfilling this outcome. Okay, something that you probably plan in your course document. Okay, so in my case, it's let's say the first activity that I just added, right? So what you can do is let's say this activity, and the first outcome fulfill this activity. So there's a two-way you can tag this particular activity. Number one, the first one is you can do in the end of the pages here. Okay, you can see this one. So when I click this one, hold on. Okay, you can see the outcome tag I specified earlier already be visible here, right? So you can tag like this. Okay, that means any activity in this page is linked to this outcome. Or you can directly link to that activity posting widget. Okay, but that method little bit you need to do, you need to click edit first. Then you go to that posting widget. And then can you see this share setting? And click that. And then you can see that tag is already been here. Okay, so what is the outcome text? Recognize threads. So this is how you create a bridge, a connection between your course learning outcomes, okay, the one you specified earlier, to your context and activity. When the bridge connection successfully happen, then you can continue creating or use our assessment feature, or and by creating an assessment report, or you can leave it lah. Okay, but it's actually very useful to do this tagging even if you're not going to use assessment tag, you're not going to use our assessment feature. All right, so now I'm already like show you how to create edit the content, edit the pages, as well as edit the outcome and tag the outcome. Okay, so what is the next next thing that I want to show is I'm going to show you how to set up your course landing page. A landing page. All the OpenLearning course have its own landing page. That actually is very important part in any online course. Let me show you an example how the course landing page will look like. Okay, so course landing page normally will look like this. This is one example of OpenCred course that already available, created by Australia, that already available in OpenLearning. So course landing page is the first page your student will see, all right, before they click enroll button. Okay, this is where you tell them what's your course about, what's your course objective, what's your cost outcome, how much your course gonna cost, what is the learning hours, which learning pathway, okay, it's gonna fall into, and so all the important details like do your course recognized by HRDF, then put the information here. So you will get, so student will know, oh, this course has been recognized by HRDF, can claimable HRDF, so I can take this. So that's why course landing page is very important. Take a look at this example here. So this course landing page has some course promo image, this one, and like credential type. Okay, this is OpenCred course, all right? So that's why the credential type is OpenCred. Okay, so there's a start date, there's a flexible duration, meaning flexible, student can learn at their own pace, and how many learners, and as well as the hours, CPT hours, the learning hours, I mean 4.5. Besides that, there are also mentioned about the course objective. Remember the OpenCred pathway learning path types that I mentioned earlier. So this course is actually fall under professional learning, okay, and industry recognized. So so that's why it's already been mentioned here, okay. And then what is the outcome? And then besides that, there's who's supporting in the course, and pretty much other information. You also can add more information in the landing page, like model overview, what is got any assessment in the course, or is it recognized by anyone or something like that. Okay, now now you know what is the landing page. Let's start edit that part, this part. Okay, to edit your course landing page, you click course setup, this part, and then click landing page. Okay, so very easy, no coding any required. You can simply replace whatever thing that already in this fictional course. So in this fictional course already have its own landing page. So what you can do is you just need to replace it with your own course objective, course outcome, and everything. So for the promo image, simply click this X icon and upload your own promo image, right? And then here you can add information like course objective, who's your course for, any prerequisites knowledge that course the student need to have before taking this course, or how this course gonna help in my daily life. So all this information you can put it. So this is like fiction, right? So you can replace with your own idea. So see how benefit the template is. So everything is there. The idea is there. So you only need to add with the own thing. So you don't need to, sometimes it's quite surprising how this will, how helpful is this, right? So beside that, you also can add more information in this section, like further information, like is this course being accredited by any accreditation body, any contact information or this thing, you also can add that information as well, all right? And as well, add your team member, okay? So beside this, it's also important to add other things, okay? Like if let's say your course have a price, let's say you want to charge your cost, the money have to be also reflected in the landing page. But the surprising is the setting is not that here. You can do that in what we call as a class setting. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to open in the new tab or yeah. So it's supposed to be in the course setup general. Okay, it's in the general section. Okay, I'm going to open it here. Okay, remember, class is actually, think that as a cohort where you can create multiple cohort in your own micro-credential course. Okay, so you can do this in this here under the class. So what you can do is click create a new class and choose what type of enrollment that you want. If you want to have a price cost, then you need to choose public. Okay, but private enrollment you cannot have you cannot set up a price. Okay, so for public, if let's say it's a free or paid, if paid, then set up the paid and then choose the currency, Aussie, Malaysian ringgit, Singapore dollar, US dollar, and then click create. Okay, this is how you set up the price. Okay, as well as enrollment type for this course. So to know more about this class, please explore here or go to our help page. Okay, so just think that as a cohort. Okay, so in one course you can have a multiple cohorts. Okay, like cohort A, cohort B, cohort C, or something like that. Okay. All right. So besides this, one thing is one of the most important things that need to be reflected in your landing page is course start date and end date. Okay, when your course gonna start, when your course gonna end. Okay, it's good to have that information in the landing page. So that you can do it in the administrator section, administrator learner timelines here. Okay, so if you click that part, administrator learner, where you can set up the course start date and end date. It's very easy. Okay, so you also can specify enrollment time as well. So your time zone is basically automatic. Start date when, end date when your course gonna. If you don't want to specify that, just leave it empty. Okay, if you want this course gonna run forever, then leave it empty. All right, and enrollment close date is actually, let's say you open your course for 3 months, but you only want to take enrollment on the first month, then you need to specify that. Okay, if let's say you want to have open the enrollment throughout the class, when the course running, then leave it empty, right? So make sure you have set up this class access time, so it reflected in your course landing page, right? Okay, another one I want to highlight here, besides I show how to set up the price, then class start and end date, is the learning hours. Learning hours is one of the important criteria that need to be mentioned. Okay, so you can set up that what is the CPD hour, learning hour, the cost going to take is under the cost setup, general. Okay, go back to the class. Remember the way we set up the classes? Simply. Okay, so here you can see is this is where you can set up your time commitment. Okay, my course gonna take 4 hours, right? Learning hours. So you'll be reflected in the landing page, just like it show up here. Okay, yeah, see. So when you set up everything, your landing page should look complete. Okay, I mean you can start enrollment. But there are one more information that is missing here is this one, OpenCred. But don't worry, later I will show you how to request for this. Okay, so once you complete your setup, your landing page, everything, you're happy with it, I'm strongly advise you to go to our course setup wizard section. Okay, course setup wizard section is actually where you can this is where we have this beautiful checklist, right? Something that I also utilize. Even I'm using OpenLearning for quite a long time. Still until now, I always come back here to double check if I do everything right or not. Okay, so because this setup wizard is for you to create your own online course to make sure that you add everything that necessary, like okay, do you upload the banner image for your course or not? Okay, so remember the banner. Okay, this one. All right, so what you can do is you need to create your own banner and replace this banner. Okay, you can create in Canva, you need to replace it. How to do that? All right, so you just need to click this button. Okay, so when you click this, it will lead to the page setting page that where you can change that. Okay, you can see it show here. Okay, how easy is this? All right, same thing. You only need to click the link in order to find out where all the setting is located. Okay, so and then do you add the course thumbnail or not? Okay, did you add background color and theme color like this one? Okay, so this is my theme color. You can change to any theme color, right? And then did you write the learning outcome? The one I just mentioned earlier. Did you create models? Did you create pages? So everything, right? So did you add images and video in the promotion page? And then finally, is it your course is ready? Is it your course is beautiful? Like did you have relevant images throughout the course? Any typo error, any grammatical error? So you need to do all this final check. Okay, so once you're happy with this, so what you can do is there are one more setting that you need to send your OpenCred, this course that let's say you finish everything, you design everything, you're happy with everything. Okay, I'm happy, my course is ready, OpenCred course is ready. So what you can do is you need to send to us for review. Okay, where we have a group of team where we review our course using our criteria, OpenCred course criteria. Okay, and then we will advise you if your course is fulfill our criteria, then we will give OpenCred's badge. Okay, we will give you access to OpenCred's accreditable badge system where you can create your own certificate credential. Okay. If it's not ready, let's say have something for improvement. Okay, so we will give you some advice. Oh, your course is great, but you just need to add something like that part and then something, and then you can request again. Okay, in order to do that, uh, you just need to go to this setup wizard again, right? Okay, number one, you need to turn your course online. Yeah, okay. this one, listing, step 3, listing on OpenLearning. Okay, so yeah, all right, listing OpenLearning. All right, click this part, and then your course is not listed. Then click request to be listed. Then you will send a request to us to check your course. Okay, that's part. Then we will check your course, and then we will go through your course. Is it ready for to be called as OpenCred course? And then we will send the. And if you need improvement, then definitely we'll advise you. Okay. So once let's say your course is ready, it's been ready to be listed, then finally there's one thing that you need to do. The final check is actually you need to set up a credential. Okay. Then where to do that? The credential is actually here in credential system. Okay. In OpenLearning, we have two types of credential. One is our own pre-built OpenLearning credential system, where you can create our own OpenLearning certificate system or our own OpenLearning badges to create your own credential. Or we also partner with Credible, okay, where you can create your own. You can utilize the Credible system to create your credential. Okay, so it's very easy to do that. Okay, if you notice, it's quite very easy. Only way you can do that is actually click setup. Okay, credential, click setup. Okay, and then click digital certificate, or you want to use, like I mentioned, we have two sections, right? You want to use OpenLearning, then go for OpenLearning system. If you want to use Credible, then use Credible. And then you just need to fill in all these details, right? And then finally, after you finalize this part, then click appearance to design your Credible. Okay, don't worry, there's a step-by-step guide for you to do that. Everything is being shared in the platform, in the course. And then once you design everything, then you can issue your own Credible. Okay, so this pretty much the step-by-step guide how to design your own, how to edit this course template. Okay, so is there any questions? So
Hi, Chandru, are you opening for some questions at the moment?
yeah,
We have,
right.
yes, we have some questions. I'll take some questions that is directly related to the platform and what you're presenting now. Perhaps we can take one or two questions now, and then we'll take more after at the end of your session. Yeah. So we have a question here from Amir Baj. His question is: can we create learning content on the OpenLearning platform using our mobile phone? Or must we use notebook or computer to create or modify the learning content?
Okay.
That's his question.
Oh, that's actually a very good question. Okay, the thing is, OpenLearning use very latest HTML5 technologies. Okay, it's also very powerful technology. So to utilize that technology 100%, I strongly recommend to edit the contents and activity using a computer or laptop. Okay, our mobile app is simply only for learning. Okay, not really suitable for editing the contents and activities. Okay, all right, okay. But
Okay.
right, any other?
Yes, so we have another question, which is from we have just bear with me, Chandru, because we're also taking questions from our other channels on Facebook. So one of the question is from Norain. Is there any badges offered by OpenLearning? So as part of micro-credentials, digital badging is something that is quite nice to offer, either in addition or an alternative to certificate. So the question here is, does OpenLearning offer any badges?
Oh, that's actually good. Gamification is one of the most important thing that we taking very very seriously. Okay, so what you can do is badges is like any gamification mechanics, right? So in OpenLearning, we do have a pre-built badge system. Okay, where you can create your own badges. Okay, so it's very easy actually. Okay, I'm gonna quickly show how to do that. It's very easy. Okay, so what you can do is you just click administrator learner, right? Sorry, course setup, and then to the community here. Okay, so where you will lead to our own internal batch system. Okay, where you can create a batch called, where in OpenLearning we call it achievement. Okay, so this batch is very easy, very simply to create, where you can name it anything like active participant, and then click image for that batch, right? Like we have a pre-built lot of batches here for you to choose from the library, all right? And then once you choose, and then what you can do is you add some description for batch. Why do I want that batch? What is the reason you want the batch? You add some description, and then you create. And then you also can award by manually, like you choose the student and award manually. You can award this page based on the Kudos. Okay, we have this thing called Kudos. So Kudos actually linked to our like system. Remember in OpenLearning we have like. So each like is actually basically a Kudos. Okay, so if let's say student receive like what 10 Kudos, then they will get this badge or something like that. You can award by Kudos or based on the course completion. That means when student receive 100% course completion in this progress setting, you'll be awarded. So this is our internal badge system. But besides this, if you create OpenCred course, then you will also have access to our accreditable system. Okay, so that is a badge where you can play around. The best part is all these badges that you have created also be reflected in the student's portfolio. Okay, our OpenLearning system, when you create a course with your students, for all your students, we have this thing called a portfolio. Okay, everyone has this thing. Okay, so you can access that portfolio by clicking this small icon on the top right corner. Okay, then you click my profile here. Okay, and then you can access this portfolio. So all this picture will be reflected there. Okay, and let me open my own profile. Okay, and what is the name now? Okay, okay, supposed to be Chandru. Okay, this is my portfolio. Okay, okay, this is wrong URL. So each portfolio has its own URL, so you can share with anyone around the world. So this is my profile. Okay, this is my learning portfolio, my learning portfolio. This is my lifelong learning portfolio. Okay, a lifelong learning, because every time when I take a course in OpenLearning, when I participate in activity, that activity's learning artifact will be reflected in my portfolio. Okay, so you will show in my portfolio, people, you can see this is all is my learning artifact. Okay, the skill that I demonstrate throughout all the courses that I took throughout this one. So one is this is a list of courses I took, and then beside this, you also reflect this credential system, where when you click it, you also can see the certificate. Okay, some courses offer certificate, some courses not. If the courses offer certificate, if I got the certificate, you also will be reflected here. You notice I completed some certificate like this one. This is just planning ambassador testing page, and then introduction to ecotourism, personal finance, time management. So all these courses I finished. And then this is my badges that I got it from the course. Okay, so this is my achievement. This is our internal badge system. So everything will be reflected in my own portfolio, where I can check with anyone around the world. Let's say in the future, I want to look for the job. And then what I can simply is, along with my resume, I can share the link of my lifelong learning portfolio. So the people know, oh, this is my skill. This is my capabilities. Remember the Prof. Graham share is micro-credential about sharing the capabilities, the skills. Where you share that? Yeah, in the OpenLearning portfolio, right? So that's it.
I hope that answers your question, Norine. We'll just take one more question and then we will allow Chandru to proceed, and then we'll take further questions at the end. Chandru, we have a question from Hasufa Jasman. The question is, can we add H5p in OpenLearning? So when someone is designing or building a course, can they add H5p?
Yes, H5p is actually external contents, okay? But you need to double check with H5p if they allow to add inside OpenLearning. But last time when I checked, they allow embedding. So in OpenLearning, we have this widget, embed widget. We call it H5 HTML5 X API, where you can upload a zip HTML5 or you can iframe. Or we also have HTML5 embedding widget. Okay, so what we can do, if H5p allow embedding, okay, let's say you create a content there and then it's allow embedding, then you can embed directly in the OpenLearning platform. If that particular content is not allowed any embedding, then you cannot. Same like iframing. If all the third-party contents is totally depend on the third-party contents. Some contents, third-party, they won't allow iframing, they won't allow embedding into the third-party side. So if they allow iframing or embedding, if they provide the code for embed, then you can use our HTML5 widget to embed. So far, directly integrating H5p, okay, it's never been done before because H5p, I noticed they have a help page for Moodles and whole other elements, but because they're using their own file system, not HTML5. H5p have their own file system. Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll pause the Q&A for now, and we'll allow Chandru to cover further information about the template that he's presenting now.
Okay. So basically, any question, the one that I mentioned about the template, because pretty much this is how you finalize edit the template. Okay, it's very simple and very straightforward. Okay, most important thing is remember the when you receive the template, remember that you will lead to the one important first page, step by step at how to edit this template. Just go to the page and then you start editing the page. Once you're happy with everything, don't forget to delete the unnecessary pages, unnecessary contents. Okay, so you need to do that. If you're stuck in any way, you can always contact us and you can go through our help page or watch any of our tutorial video to learn how to do that. Okay, so I think that's pretty much I think we cover. I think we can continue with any Q&A, right, Nadia?
Okay. If we're okay, we're going to take questions now. So earlier on, we had a question from Nadira about, can you give an example for micro-credential for music course? So as answered by Marshita, at the moment, we don't have an example where anybody has done a micro-credential in music. However, if you're exploring, perhaps that is something that you might want to take either on behalf of yourself or your organization. Not an example, but a suggestion that we can give is perhaps to look at which element of music would you like to break it down and offer it as a micro-credential. Is it theory? Therefore, are you going to align it to ABRSM, for example? Are you going to do it grade 1, grade 2, grade 3? And in that way, it could be part of a pathway. That means once you pass grade 1, you can pass grade 2. Alternatively, it could be as a standalone, whereby you just want to offer a topic on the history of music or the history of string instruments, or perhaps you want to cover a period of music, or you can also look at composers. So this is just some ways of how you may offer or break down a particular topic and look at which particular component or module you would like to break it down to. And you can also look at it from the segment. That means, are you going to offer it to new learners? Is it somebody who wants to learn music because they just want to learn a new skill? So say, are you targeting young adults who's just learning music for the first time? So the approach would be different than you designing something for a 5-year-old student, right? You might want to just go deep into it, perhaps somebody wants to learn the ukulele. So this is an example on how you may want to take a topic, which is music, break it down and offer it as a micro-credential. So you can offer it as, is it pathway? So is it qualification based? Or is it as a standalone? That means it's just skill and knowledge based. And as Chandru mentioned, one of the things why people want to take micro-credential is that it is a skill. So we hope that answers your question on an example of how you may approach music to offer as a micro-credential. Earlier on, we had a question from Maxwell, of which some of it has been answered. And we have Marshita here, head of learning design, who would like to add a bit more to his question.
Hi, thanks, Nadia. Hello, everyone. Okay, so earlier, as mentioned by Nadia, we had a question from Maxwell from Utah. Thanks, Max, for the question. So the question is, if we are developing for professional courses, how do we obtain industry recognition for the OpenCred courses design? So I understand that institutions would like to start offering industry recognized courses to bridge the gap between what the industry needs and what the institutions are offering. So so just to add on to the response that I gave to Maxwell, which was an institution can either develop a course that's already recognized by industry body. So you can add on more options for the professionals to take that particular course from your institution. Or you can also start collaborating with an industry body that recognizes upskilling courses, upskilling programs for the professionals in the industry. But to add on to that would be industry recognized OpenCreds are just one of the classification of OpenCreds. There's still 2 other classifications that we recognize, which is the pathway and the credit-bearing OpenCred. So for institutions like you or any other higher education institutions that would like to start offering OpenCred, you can also consider a credit-bearing or pathway OpenCred. For this, you might not be so you may not have to collaborate with an industry body. So you can already start with a course or a part of a course by unbundling part of your programs and offer it as a shorter course. And this can be provided to students who, for example, SPM leavers who would like to upgrade themselves, or it could be a course where they can complete in order to get an admission to your university. It could be a course that they take for them to enable them to register for a course at your university, or it could be a course that they can take and they earn credits so that when they register for the university to join the university, they already have some credits that they have already obtained. Yeah, so those are so for OpenCred, we actually have 3 types of classification, and there's a pathway, credit bearing, and also industry recognized. So you can also consider either one of these types if you like to start with the courses that you already have. Yeah, so that's all I think from me, Nadia.
Thank you, Marshita. And that ties in with Muhammad Hazrul's question, where he asked, how do you determine whether an OpenCred course is pathway aligned, credit bearing, or industry recognized? So as explained by Marshita, these are the 3 options, and the organization or the individual will have the option to design micro-credentials or OpenCreds along with these 3 elements. And just to add to his question, which is, OpenCred courses, are they all set to paid and can they be set as free to join? I'll take this question, where it is actually up to the individual or the organization whether you want to charge a fee for the course or to offer it for free. That is entirely up to you, whether you choose you want to offer it to generate some revenue or to offer it for free. There are some organizations that offer a free version as part of a teaser course or a beginner's level, and then they would charge a fee for something a bit more advanced, so that the learner can try and experience something first before they decide that they would want to pay more to find out and increase their knowledge in the subject. Mashita, we have a question from Arif Shazni, which is, have you done micro-credential where student can continue to study in a diploma degree program in public university? How can we do it?
Sorry. Let me just go through the question.
Yeah.
If anyone...
sorry, this question came up from Facebook.
Okay.
Or an alternative channel, yeah.
Okay. Can you help to read the question again, please?
So it's, have you done micro-credential where students can continue to study towards a diploma or degree program in a public university? Or how can they do it? So how can an individual or organization take micro-credential as part of a pathway for a diploma or a degree, as you had mentioned earlier on?
Yeah. So we have not developed that kind of micro-credentials, but the higher education institution or institutions can start doing that. So last year, MQA have produced the GGP, introduced the GGP, which is the Guide to Good Practices for Micro-Credentials, which states that institutions under MOHI can start offering micro-credentials, and there are two types of micro-credentials that's stated in the GGP, which is it could be either standalone or credit-bearing. So for the kind of micro-credentials that you mentioned where students can complete to either open up a pathway for them to join a university or to join a particular qualification like diploma or degree. So higher education institutions can start offering this type of micro-credentials. And based on the GGP, it is stated that institutions do not need to obtain further approval from MQA if you are offering this micro-credential that is already part of a program that is already approved by MQA. So for example, if an institution is already offering a program on, for example, a business program that's already approved by MQA, and now you would like to offer a micro-credential that can offer students a pathway to join that particular degree in business, then you do not need to get further approval from MQA as long as you meet the same learning outcomes and the same requirements that's already stated in the MQA document of that particular program, the particular approved program. So that's where the unbundling of your current program comes in. So when an institution unbundled their current degree or diploma program, that could be a pathway for students to join the university, or it could be a credit bearing where they can obtain credit to save some time as when they register for that particular qualification. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, we hope that answers your question, Arif. We do have some organizations that is looking at breaking down the programs that they offer. So be it a diploma or a degree or a postgraduate qualification. And what they intend to do with that is that when they break it down, they can offer it to an individual to take it as a standalone. But perhaps because they've sampled it and they realize, actually, I actually want to take this as the whole diploma. So unbundling is actually one of the ways, and it's quite effective in how you can offer this as part of a pathway towards other qualifications that you're offering at your university or institution. We also have a question from Marwan, which is similar to this, which is, can you share the process for MQA to accredit a micro-credential? So
yeah, I think that the explanation just now may have answered this as well, where you do not need to get further approval for MQA if you're developing an a micro-credential that is already part of your approved program. So also to add on to that, right, Nadia, for the OpenCred framework, it also allows, so if a micro-credential fulfill all of the OpenCred framework, then it could allow, there's a possibility that students can stack their micro-credentials, because the OpenCred framework has that standardization in terms of the quality of the micro-credential, in terms of the learning hours, the types of micro-credential, and also the classification. So because all of this is already set, then so the courses that's developed based on these criteria will have some form of standardization. Hence, it is possible to stack these micro-credentials to form or to make sure that the students can bundle this again and like get another qualification, a bigger qualification out of it. Yeah. So stacking and interoperability between these different types of micro-credentials are possible with the OpenCred framework.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Mashita. We have a question about using the template. So this is a question perhaps that Chandru can help address to the audience. The question is, after creating a course using the OpenLearning template, can the course be hosted on the university's LMS? Just before I let Chandru answer in detail, I'd just like to share that the material that is designed on the OpenLearning template is such that it sits on the template. However, to put it on the university's LMS, if you copy and paste the content, it would not appear and have the same features of interactivity. And perhaps Chandru will be able to explain a bit more on this.
Yeah. So if that particular LMS, it need to be clear if you're using our OpenLearning portal page, which is behind is actually OpenLearning, then pretty much it's the same thing. But one of the best thing about OpenLearning platform is its uniqueness. The philosophy is believed in, and the way it's designed based on that philosophy. Social learning and active learning and something, and all these ideas. So that we believe in this things very heavily, okay, very serious, and so that's why the platform design on that. So that's why in OpenLearning we give you so many freedom to design the course the way you like it. So that you can see the freedom in that particular page when I show you, where you can easily customize the contents. You can remove the contents back, forth, add any contents you want. You also can create a close-ended activity. You also can create open-ended activities. You also can put a lot of different types of content. So it's unique to OpenLearning. It's simply that page is very hard to is built to support in OpenLearning system, but not really in other LMS. Okay, because each LMS has its own style, design thing. In OpenLearning, we are different. I would say we are different and we are unique. Okay, so when you design the course in OpenLearning style, you won't find any anywhere, right? So that's my question answer. Right.
Okay, and just to add, Dr. Kartiani, we do have organizations that use their own LMS. They have an existing LMS. However, for selected programs or courses or micro-credentials, they opt to use OpenLearning for the delivery. So perhaps you can check with your organization the direction that you're taking with micro-credentials, and if using OpenLearning is something that you would like to consider, perhaps you can chat with your faculty or department and come back to us, and we're happy to support you further in your micro-credentials or OpenLearning journey.
Yeah. To add to that, please remember you are not alone. Okay, that's why we have here. We have a very team dedicated to help you the best we can. In your journey. So we have recently our team, LS department team, a lot of learning designers, my team, Atika, Alena, and all, and they have created very good learning resources for you that really can help you to develop your own in your own course design journey. So we come up with a lot of blog posts, tutorial videos, okay, and course templates on the way. And our marketing, we also have this 30-day course guide. It already embedded. So you're not alone. We're not gonna let you go just like that. So we are ready to help you the best we can. So the only thing is you just need to harness our process.
Okay. Right. Our next question we have is, how can we calculate SLT, student learning time, in micro-credential?
Okay, I can take that, Nadia.
Okay.
Okay, so coming from our point of view as learning designers, based on our experience working with subject matter experts, it is on the onus of the course creator or the subject matter experts to set the expectation for the learners during the pre-enrollment, for them to know what's the likely amount of time it will take for them to achieve the specified learning outcomes. So based on your experience as an expert in that particular area, what's the likely amount of time that it will take for students to achieve the learning outcomes that you've set, and also to produce the evidence of learning that will enable, that is the artifact of learning where employers or the recognizing institution who would like to recognize that particular OpenCred can see that this student have achieved the outcomes because of this evidence that they have produced. So the focus would be on, when we are thinking about coming up with the learning time, your focus should be on the learner being able to demonstrate their achievement of the learning outcomes based on your experience as an expert in that area. In the OpenCred framework itself, we defined the learning hours as the average amount of time that is required for a new learner, which we further define as little or no experience to develop the required level of competency or to achieve the learning outcomes that you've set. So in the framework itself, we have specified 7 blocks of learning hours. And if you're designing an OpenCred, you need to specify what's the nearest learning hours based on these 7 blocks. The reason is for the stackability. So if, for example, the course that you're designing takes 5 hours for a learner to achieve the outcomes and produce the evidence of learning, then the block that you will need to specify when you are designing the course and getting your approval for OpenCred would be under the 4 hours block. The reason is because we usually take the nearest, we usually round it to the lower tier, because we want to make sure that students are able to complete and achieve all of the outcomes. And when we stack it, then it would not be short. The learning hours will not be shorter than what is expected in the industry or in the recognizing institution. So Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you, Mashita.
Yeah.
We have a question from Kate. Hi, Kate. And her question is, if one is planning on submitting the course for OpenCred, is it acceptable to have a whole week for the learner to develop or polish their final project submission, i.e. the learning artifact? So this perhaps refers to the learner submitting an assessment or something that is required at the end for the learner, him or her, to receive the certificate or a task of completion. Perhaps if one of you can explain a bit more about this.
Okay, I guess I can provide some view. I think it depends on your target learners that you have. So is it acceptable for your learners, the target learners that you have, to spend 1 week to produce the learning evidence and to achieve the outcomes? If, for example, your target learners are professionals and they are working adults, then probably it's not acceptable for course creators to expect them to spend that amount of time. So usually when we develop courses for working adults or for the public, we develop courses that is more flexible, where they can complete the course at their own pace, and they can apply to be assessed as and when that they are ready. So I think it goes back to the type of learners that you have. And so before designing a course, there's usually some needs analysis that will be done to identify the target learners, and that could be that could answer your question as well.
Thank you, Mashita. I hope that answers your question, Kate. We have some questions from Dre.
Hello.
To this end. So OpenCred is OpenLearning's brand of micro-credential. If you wish to use our framework, this should be able to assist you in terms of how are you going to develop and launch the content and material that you have as an OpenCred. However, you may also wish to align this to your own micro-credential strategy of your organization. In terms of support and assistance that we have, in addition to the framework, we also have the OpenCred's investment fund for Malaysia. This is open for application to any organization that is interested in developing OpenCreds, which means micro-credentials that is aligned to the OpenCred's framework for Malaysia. If you submit your application, our team will review, and we will try and see if we can support you in your micro-credentials journey. And we have a question from Nora Shazadiyana Suraini. Her question is, similarly, for an organization to work with an institution that offers professional accreditation, we have to liaise and collaborate with them first for the course in OpenCred to be recognized by that institution, right? Yes, that is correct. You would probably have to have some initial conversations with the professional accreditation body to check with them that you would like to offer the course as a micro-credential. Do they agree and are they supportive of the journey that you're taking? Anything you would like to add on that, Mashita?
No, I think what you have mentioned is, yeah, so that some form of conversation, or I think during when course creators request for their course to be approved as an OpenCred, we need that information during that request for the request to be approved. So the agreement that you might have with the collaborating or the industry body or information on who will approve this course, and if, for example, information like if it contributes to a CPD points, so those information will be needed. So I think the reason for that OpenCred classification, pathway, credit bearing, and industry recognized, is to make sure that this course has some value added for the learner. Whether it's a credit bearing or it's a industry recognized, like they can get CPD points, or it could open up a pathway to a job interview or university admission and things like that. So that's the reason for that classification as well. So that's why for industry recognized, we need that information for it to be proved as OpenCred.
And Shazadiana, just to add, as Prof. Karim had mentioned earlier, USM is launching a micro-credentials program with nurses, and it took them approximately 2 years to work on it. So a consideration or a suggestion is, if you have an idea, if you have the target audience, perhaps you can approach the right organization that might be able to direct you in terms of who would be the best person and other supporting agencies or organizations for you to deliver the ideas that you have and to offer the course or program as a micro-credential. Perhaps that is a way to start some conversations to offer a program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions?
We have one from Prof. Zul.
Okay.
Zul Isman from UTM. Does OpenLearning have an experience dealing with EAC in developing the OpenCred framework? No, we do not have experience dealing with EAC. The OpenCred framework was developed to make sure that it supports both the GGP and mission qualification framework, and also to be aligned with the Australian version of OpenCred. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We have a question from Nadira, which is, what is the difference between micro-credentials and APEL-C? Chandru, would you like to take this question? I can see you smiling. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, APEL-C is actually credit bearing Apple. Okay, so I know there's two different type of Apple. One is Apple A, if I'm not mistaken, admission. Okay, and one is Apple C is for credit bearing. So the difference between micro-credential and Apple C is if let's say you create credit bearing pathway micro-credential OpenCred. Okay, so that particular can be Apple C if you wish to. Okay, so I think the only difference between micro-credential and APEL-C is both are same, but under the OpenCred, it can fall under credit bearing. Okay, so Mashta, you want to add anything on that?
No, I think you've answered that question, Chandru. And that's based on our understanding as well.
Yeah.
Of APEL-C. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
All right. Hope that answers your question, Nadira. We have a question from Nur Shafika, and the question is, does OL offer human marked assessment?
Human marked assessment.
Yeah. Via the platform?
Yes.
I guess that can be done. Also need to find out what does human mark assessment, like what do you mean by human mark assessment? How the platform works is that you can develop a course where students submit their work, and then if the submission is, if it's that particular work is needs to be assessed by an assessor, then we have the assessment feature where you can set up the reports. And there are widgets that we have where you can develop automatically marked assessments. But there's also a lot of widgets that allow the students to submit their work, their opinions, their project papers, and that will need to be marked by an assessor. It can be done online where the assessors can set up the rubrics, but ultimately the assessor will still need to go through the submissions in order for those submissions to be assessed. Yeah.
I think we more said it's more outcome-based assessment, okay, evidence-based assessment. So I remember earlier, like I mentioned, that OpenLearning, our assessment feature is actually based on the idea of outcome-based assessment, where you have a learning outcome and then you have a content and activities, and through activities, students provide learning artifacts. So when they provide the artifact, you assess by referring to your learning outcome. That's why we do the connections. So
yeah, and usually learning artifacts will need to be assessed by an assessor.
Yeah, by human assessor.
Yeah, because if the artifact is if the assessment is automatically marked assessment in an online course, we will never know who actually did or who actually completed those assessments. And for example, if the assessment is an MCQ, a learner can actually just answer any of the options, and there's still possibility that the learner will get some marks. But if the submission is based on the knowledge that they gain or the skills, that means they need to show that they have developed that knowledge, either through submission of their videos or their reflections, then that will need to be marked by an assessor.
Right, thank you for the answers. We have another question on assessment, which is from Fatima Abdul Razak. And the question is, does OL support peer-to-peer assessment?
Peer-to-peer. Okay. Okay, I don't. Is an example?
Is it possible that between learners, they help to verify or answer what is being tested? So in terms of peers validating for each other.
Okay, is it like other students evaluates another student's work? Okay, so I think you can create activities if that's the thing that you want. Okay, let's say you create one final activity, right? Then you create these activities. So students submit the provide evidence, and then everyone share. And then what you can do is you ask students to evaluate other students' work. But of course, you need to provide the criteria, the rubric to them, right? So what you can do is, hi everyone, because that's why one best thing about social learning is students, when they look at other people's work, and then they will reflect on their work, and they also can get their own idea for the work, and then it will help them to come to reflect. Okay, so you can do that if you want to have like a peer review activities. Okay, but you need to have you need to set up a very clear instruction and provide criteria for that. To say, okay, let's say I want to evaluate the student work. What's the thing that I need to look for? Okay, so if you need to provide all these things. I think we done that for a few online courses last time.
So we actually have a further reply from Dr. Fatima. She's saying that, for example, on a course that she's following on Coursera, if you want your assignment to be corrected, you need to mark 3 of your peers' assignment.
Okay, can you repeat the question again?
So the first question is, does OL support peer-to-peer assessment? Followed by, for an example, on a course that she's taking on Coursera, if you want your assignment to be corrected, you would need to mark 3 of your peers' assignments.
Yeah. So, okay, that setting, okay, that actually requires some extra setting, okay, for them to do it, okay. I never personally done that, never done that in OpenLearning, but I have created a lot of online courses for people I give them freedom, okay. You can evaluate as many as people you want, if you want to, but we provide the criteria for them for the evaluation, okay. So when the student evaluate, then they just need to tick the checklist down. Oh, I have done that part, okay, something like that, and which will be reflected in the course progress lah. Okay, so that one way you can do that. Okay, so that's why I guess you can take a look some of the example online courses that we develop. Okay, in our OpenLearning platform, we can take a look at the activities, and then from there you can steal some activities ideas. All right, how we do it in OpenLearning. So it'll be great lah. So like Prof. Karim mentioned, if you want to create a great example micro-credential course or any online course, first you have to be a learner, and then participate in the activities. Then we can do it.
Okay, so just to add to that, the OpenLearning platform allows the learning designer or the educator to deliver or teach in their most comfortable chosen method. So, if you feel like you want to give them a lot of activities, you want to design text-based assignments and assessments, that is up to you. So in terms of when it comes to peer-to-peer assessment, it depends on whether do you feel that that would be an effective way of assessing your students. If you feel that you want them to learn from each other, then yes, you can design your course to make it peer-based. The platform is designed such that it's meant to be interactive, social learning, we learn from each other. So even it does not have to be as part of an assignment or assessment. We are learners ourselves, and I have learned a thing or two from the other people, strangers in a course, where they just share, oh, I heard this from TED Talk, perhaps you want to check it out. And I've also seen examples where somebody shared their personal experience as a teacher. This was how I taught my students, and somebody else said, oh, that's quite useful for me, can I use that example? So at OpenLearning, it's part of our learning pedagogy that we support the social learning and peer-to-peer learning, not necessarily peer-to-peer assessment. So we hope that answers your question. We have one from Boon Hong Ong. The question is, for some advanced courses that needs a prerequisite course, is this possible via OpenLearning?
Advanced prerequisite course.
So perhaps,
I think, so you want to create some course, and then let's say student need to take, let's say this course must have, let's say they want to take some other prerequisite course, you can set up an OpenLearning. So before they click enroll button in the landing page, so they will tell them here you need to take this prerequisite course. You can set up that in OpenLearning. Okay. So yeah, it can be done. Okay.
Yeah. So perhaps to add to that, Mr. Ong, what you can do is to offer, as part of a requisite, you can put a note or a remark there to say that you must have completed level 1, level 2, or beginner intermediate before beginning this course, and perhaps provide links or information on how they must obtain the beginner or the prerequisite courses before they embark on the current course that you want them to take.
Yeah, but also, Nadia, having the information on the landing page is of course helpful. But on the OpenLearning platform itself, if they use the qualification feature, and they are offering, and the institution is also offering the prerequisite courses, then it can be said that students cannot take the course unless they have completed the prerequisite courses. So if all of the prerequisite courses are also offered by the institution, they can use the qualification feature and set that. So that particular course will not be available to the student unless they have completed those prerequisite courses. It can be set automatically as well. But if the institution does not offer those prerequisite courses, then they can mention that students need to complete them on the landing page.
Okay. Any other questions that we have? We have probably a few minutes to take one or two more questions before we wrap up our workshop.
We already answered everything.
Yes, we've been able to take most of the questions. Okay, we'll just give the participants perhaps 1 or 2 minutes. Any last questions? So feel free to answer. We've got Chandru, our learning designer. We've got Mashita, head of learning services. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I just experienced electric blackout. I'm totally dependent on my laptop battery.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're very lucky that that has happened to us at the tail end. We hope everyone is coping while we adjust to this new normal of depending on the resources that we have at our homes. I think IUCEL has been a great organizer in terms of offering this event as a digital event. We appreciate that. It allows us to still be part of IUCEL this year.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for all the questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone happy with today's sessions. Okay. So if anything, please don't forget to like.
I think we have a poll before we end the
Yeah.
session, right, Chandru?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and also some more information from Nadia as well. So don't leave yet.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start the poll.
Yeah.
So the question is, would you like an open learning consultant to get in touch with you? Please let us know if you would like any of our team members to get in touch with you. We're happy to address any questions that you have, or if you have interest in our platform or our framework, or how to develop micro-credentials that is aligned to our framework, which we call OpenCreds.
Nadia, is it paid to contact the consultant?
No, it's not. It's a free consultation. We're happy to at least find out a bit more and to learn more from you in terms of where you are and what you would like to do, and see if there's any way that we can support.
Yeah. So don't waste this opportunity, I will say, to contact our consultant. So please do this. Okay. If you have any small question, we already have our OpenLearning consultant ready to assist you best we can.
And also we'll be sharing the slides and the recording as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, we will.
Yeah, in our post-webinar email, and we'll be in touch with those who have messaged us personally and also via the chat. Thank you so much.
Right.
Okay. We're just waiting to get all the answers, and then we can end the poll. It's also okay if you're not ready, if you feel that you want to speak to your fellow teammates, your faculty, your department. Perhaps if it's 2 or 3 months down the line and you still have an inquiry, feel free to get in touch with us then. That's also fine.
Okay.
In the meantime, if you would like to find out more about OpenCreds, we have the resource link here, which is bit.ly/OpenCreds, uppercase O, uppercase C, and Y. So I will also add it to the chat here.
I think there's a question from Adawiyah. Do you have anyone at OpenLearning on any queries?
Well, we would be able to answer queries based on either the platform, the products that we offer, which is what we have is the OpenCreds framework and the OpenCreds investment fund for Malaysia and micro-credential. So these would be the areas where we can answer. So any query that you have, that would depend on the questions. And if we can answer, we would be more than happy to answer the questions. So yes, either online learning, e-learning, platform, learning design, and micro-credentials, or OpenCreds, those are the kind of questions that we hope we should be able to answer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We can. Do you want to show the
right? So this is
response.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see the full response. Yeah. So we understand that some of you might not be ready. That is fine. This session was intended to be also awareness and information sharing. Perhaps once we share the material, feel free to share it with the other members in your department or your faculty who might be interested in micro-credentials and OpenCred. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate that you spent your morning and afternoon with us. We're approaching 1 p.m. and I'm sure all of you are eager to have your lunch break now. So we hope you have a very good afternoon and enjoy the rest of IUCEL. We would also like to thank the organizers, UUM, for allowing us to share a bit about what we're doing with micro-credentials and our framework, as well as the investment fund that we have.
Thank you again, IUCEL.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us and to the organizers. Yeah.